Hello, welcome to my Base Race build episode. This is Base Race Vintage theme, and I thought long and hard about this, but what I decided to build was a vintage sewing machine. This is the old style Singer sewing machines that I actually remember. I believe, well, I know my mum had one. It makes me sound awfully old, doesn't it? But my mum had one, but I think it was old when she had it, and it wasn't quite as fancy as this one. It was one of the much plainer, more basic models, and I'm pretty sure my nan had one as well, because I definitely remember seeing one of these machines in my early childhood. So this is what I've built. Again, rather huge, but yeah, I needed to get the detail. You see, you have to pick the smallest thing and then scale up from there. These machines, they were very ornate. They had a lot of this gold inlay and intricate patterns all over, and the front plate on many of the machines was engraved a bit like this, with like fancy filigree, viney kind of patterns. And I thought it'd be fun to tackle one. It's certainly been a fun build. Lots of heavy sort of building work. You know, designing the shape of it was tricky, but yeah, putting in all of the fancy decoration was a lot of fun. So it's definitely been a fun build. It's taken me rather a while, which is why this episode's up rather late. But anyway, yeah, the over here we have the mechanics of the thing. It was all like cogs and pistons inside this. Hang on, let's get that up so I can point. Inside this thing. So as you turned the handle, because no electricity in the days these were intended for, it all cranked and turned and made the needle go up and down. But they had quite a big wheel on the side, lots of cogs and bits of machinery here, which I couldn't do accurately. I've given an impression of, really, more than anything else. I would point out while I'm up here, these are where my hoppers have been used, 4 hoppers, to form part of the nuts and bolts of the thing. Lots of interconnecting wheels and things. This was a nut that tightens up something or other in there. I don't know. So that's the workings of it. Part of the decoration on all of them, even the much plainer ones, there was like this engraved or embossed, really, medallion kind of thing stuck to the side of it. And it was definitely proud of the surface, so it wasn't an inlaid... Hello, that's one of my clocks. It wasn't an inlaid design, so it was kind of like maybe a manufacturing stamp. That was the best I could do for an engraved medallion. And a lot of these ones they're all different kind of designs on the different models, but a lot of them had like a scroll going around the bottom. So I included that as well. This was some kind of little knob lever that obviously affected something within the machinery that you could have set at different places. Up on top, we've got the spool. There we go. A cotton reel. That's using the oak. Most of it's made with wool, as you can see, and a lot of stone. We didn't have anything that was truly metal. This is obviously like stainless steel, or should be. Oh, excuse my cats, they're having a little bit of a Barney in the background. So all of these grey, this is all the andesite, or virtually all of it, I think. Pretty much. This is the tension reel. You could turn this and it would have numbers around the edge to tighten or loosen the thread, which came across from the reel over there, would thread through, catch in the hook, thread through here, and then go down to the needle down here. So there we go, there's my needle. That was the smallest point. That's what started the whole thing, was working out how big the needle is compared to everything else. So Everything got scaled up from this point. But yeah, this is the sewing machine foot. This comes, it attaches here. You can get different feet for these machines, or any sewing machine really, and would screw on. So this is like a little screw that would fix the foot onto the shaft here. And underneath here, where I've used my rails, they were quite handy actually. 8 were pretty much perfect for this. These used to move up and down and grip the fabric and pull it through as it was being stitched. So I thought that made quite an effective use of the rails there. But yes, all of the slabs, the stone slabs, have been used up in this area. Yeah, there's the jukebox. That was a screw. This held this little round plate on that you lifted if you wanted to get under here and clean out all of the fibres and the lint that gathers under there from the fabrics. These represent there's a little compartments under these. These slide out on the machine, and that's so that you can get to all of the mechanism underneath. And it was a place, I believe, to keep the bobbins as well. So yeah, that's the outside of the machine. I think that's probably all of the detail that you need to see. Oh, I suppose, hang on, let's go around the other side. I didn't show you. Yeah, this little lever here, they would have like a long slit inside the reaching inside here, and this would lever down to lower the foot down onto the fabric to grip it and start stitching. So yeah, that's the mechanics of the thing. This is the hinge. The whole machine would hinge off the box that it was set into, so for repairs, so that you could get to the actual mechanisms, all of the mechanics under there, all the pipes and tubes and things that interconnect everything, all the pistons and whatever needed maintenance. And so there was 2 hinges, and the whole thing, really heavy they are as well. They're like cast iron or something ridiculous. The whole thing would lever back, and so that you could get underneath it. So yeah, that's the machine itself. The boxes that they were sat in, most of them were plain, but some of the more expensive models probably had like inlaid designs set into the wood, which was rather fancy. So I've used the Redstone lamps, that all 16, because there's one of these on each corner of the note blocks, and the 4 pistons, so that worked out quite handy as well. So yeah, now let's have a look. Let's fly back down this end. I think that's everything. Yeah, probably good enough. Oh, and the big wooden handle. It wasn't metal usually. It was either bone back in the days where, yeah, they used to do terrible things, bone or ivory. But a lot of them were wooden. So I thought, yeah, we'll go with wooden. Even though I had bone blocks to use, I didn't want to go with bone because, no, that's not the done thing, is it, these days? Now this is a little compartment, and this is where the sewer would keep all of the knickknacks that they needed to use, all the little whatchamadoozies, accessories, that's the word I'm looking for, that you needed for sewing. So let's go inside and have a little look in there. This whole thing was just a cover, and it would lift off. And okay, so I've put in a little door. Oh, hello. I didn't do that very well, did I? I remember I was going to put some steps in there. Oh well, never mind. Slightly unfinished build. Come on, up. Right, let's quickly fix that. I don't know how. Very unprofessional, Jerry. Yeah, you see, I did need steps. I was going to put proper steps instead of... Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? Let's do that. There you go. You saw nothing. Right, okay. So, with the lid off, the sewer would be able to get a hold of all of their little bits and bobs they needed for sewing. So this person had... You see, I'm avoiding saying lady. Now, it's almost always ladies. In this era, it would have been the ladies using this machine, but that does seem rather sexist for these days. So yeah, I'm kind of avoiding that. But yeah, this person needed their glasses to do their sewing. So they're keeping their glasses inside here because it's just these ones, especially for sewing, they're just the perfect distance. Yeah, that's my excuse. And this was just to use the 64 glass because it's very difficult to find a use for glass in an old-fashioned sewing machine. So yeah, there's a pair of specs, and I've kind of made them round with the very arched nose piece because of the era, and they have very long, round arms that went behind their ears. These are kind of very much the style of the 1930s. A lot of people, male and female, wore glasses of this kind of design, so I went with that. Here we have a pin cushion because you always need a pin cushion, don't you? And that's using. I thought the end rods made perfect pins, and we are allowed to use end rods because they are a free item, I believe, because they're lighting. So yeah, there's the 3 bookcases used up in the pin cushion. This is just odds and ends lying around in this box. We've got some toggles, like you'd have for a duffel coat, like a button for a duffel coat. A couple of those. Here's some regular buttons. That's using the dirt. And here we have the project that the sewer is working on at the moment. It's a little piece of patchwork, unfinished. And here's the little swatches of fabric that they're using for it. So that's using all the gravel, the bricks. I was thinking, where on earth am I going to use bricks in a sewing machine? But yes, I found a way. So there's the stripy pattern of the bone blocks there. That's I don't know. What's that fabric called? I can't even remember now, where it had little dimples in it in stripes. Yeah, it's like that. Seersucker, that's the one. Seersucker cotton fabric. So we've got more of the oak here. Oh yes, the coal blocks are two black buttons. I thought that made quite a nice little button design with the fence in between, so you've got the 4 holes to stitch on your button. So they're like shirt buttons, I guess. But yes, and lastly, oh no, not quite. We have a seam ripper. Now, I'm not sure whether they had such things in these days. I'm pretty sure they did. I seem to remember my nan using a seam ripper, so I decided to include one because no sewing kit is complete without a seam ripper. And yeah, lastly, oh no, over here we have the leaves. Again, I couldn't think how on earth to use the leaves, but then I thought, well, actually, it's lace, isn't it? So here we have a little roll of lace, obviously going to be used to trim something. So yeah, there we go. And here we have the sewing machine oil by Cherries, of course. It's a well-known manufacturer of sewing machine oil. And that's their little logo shown in with the 2 cherries on the leaves, and even a little stalk forms the little nozzle, because it had a very fine nozzle on these little sewing machine, still do actually, little things of sewing machine oil, so that you can get it into all the intricate little bits and bobs and keep your machine in perfect running order. So that was a sneaky way of using the water, because where was I going to use water in a sewing machine? Yeah, so that isn't water at all. That's oil. Yes, it is. Yes, it's oil. Okay, so there we have it. That's the all the bits and bobs used. I probably haven't pointed out everything, but trust me, everything has been used from the list. And let's just pop out here again and take one last look as we fly around. There we go, my vintage Singer sewing machine. I don't know whether they had these in the States. Let's put that back out of my hand. There we go. That's easier. I think they had a different brand, something beginning with F. Very, very similar. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they were connected in some way. Oh, look, there's OG's base. So, yeah, I didn't go far afield. I needed a big open space for this build because it turned out much bigger than I expected it to. But yeah, there we go. That's my build for February 2017, the vintage build. And I really hope you like it. Well, thanks very much for watching, and I shall see you for the next one. All right then, bye.